这些人要么丢失了，要么找不着了，要么被抓了，要么进在监狱里，要么自杀了。而且绝大多数人都有一个共同的死法，叫堕落死。因为那里有一个独裁的政党，叫共产党。海航是代表共产党在西方的一个间谍平台、洗钱平台和对西方政治进行蓝金黄的渗透平台。
1年多已经卖了3500多亿，是全世界数第1号。
Over 2 events, one that happened in London earlier in the spring, and then one that happened in Turkey several weeks ago. The one in the spring was the poisoning of Russian dissidents or Russian citizens in London. And the one the last couple of weeks was looks like the killing of a Washington Post columnist, Khashoggi, in Turkey. And both these situations, as tragic as they were, created an international media firestorm. Well, what we're here today, and Miles Guo is going to walk you through, is something that's quite frankly stunning. Literally hundreds, if not thousands, of the best and the brightest of the Chinese people are either missing, have been imprisoned, have committed suicide, have died under mysterious circumstances, or have had their assets taken from them and are impoverished. And the world's media today has not connected the dots, or there's literally been no outrage. Now, this is not 1 or 2 isolated cases, and these are not people who are not insignificant in media, in their corporate life, in the financial life, in government, in the military. It's across the board, and it's men and it's women. It is absolutely stunning that this could go on in a culture, a global culture that's connected by media, and there's literally crickets. Well, that ends today. And it ends because one man's prepared to stand up and say, he's not prepared to tolerate this, and he will use every asset at his disposal to bring truth to this, to make sure the Chinese people do not come under any more assault as they're already coming from the Chinese Communist Party and the senior leadership of the CCP. Today is about recklessness and accountability. As many people in the world, and particularly in the world's financial centers, are starting to understand, the Chinese Communist Party and the senior leadership of the CCP have acted financially recklessly over the last 10, 15, or 20 years. And that printing of currency and increasing of debt and everything that that's causing and will cause in the future, I believe, in a coming financial crisis, can be seen in the example that Miles Guo is going to walk through today. We have one of the, if not the largest financial company in the world, that has essentially been created from a very small company, and from 2014 to 2018 became, I think, arguably the largest financial company in the world, with the aid and support of major Western financial institutions and major financial players in the West. And the question has to be, how reckless was this? Who benefited from this? Who owns this? Who took these assets from the Chinese people? Who profited off this? Who looked the other way?
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the episode 17 of the Legal Battle of the Century. Today is 2012, October 3rd, and I'm Rachel. I'm your host for the show. And with me is Nicole and my co-hosts. And Nicole, do you want to say hello to everybody?
Oh, hi everyone, and hi Rachel and KK, and thank you for coming to our show, and I'm very happy to be here.
Yes, yeah, thank you, Nicole. Yes, I forgot to mention KK. KK is our OBS supporter, so we couldn't have this live stream without her. So thank you, KK, as well, and of course, thank you, audience that tuned in at this 1 p.m. sharp on Monday. As we told you guys that we have changed the time of the show in order to coordinate with all those ladies, beautiful ladies in the live stream room. So that's why we decided to go live on Monday and Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or maybe I should say, Eastern Daylight Saving Time. Okay. Anyway, so today we're going to continue our topic. We know the death of Wang Jian is going to be a little, because there's too much to it, and I would say it's a pinnacle case that happened during the last 5 years, the history of the whistleblower movement that led by Miles Guo. And it's because the reason why we started the show is because we want to showcase the infiltration that the CCP has done in the past to the judicial system, to the American democracy and freedom. So I think Wang Jian's case is probably the best, if not the best. It's one of the best examples that help us to shed a light on how CCP infiltrated not only America but also the world, particularly in this case because Wang Jian died in France. So we would dig a lot more close to the details. But in this show, we will continue. We will pick up where we left last show. So we were on the topic about the death of Wang Jian the months prior, the death of Wang Jian. Let me just move my slides so I can see. Okay, yeah, last show we walked you through a interview that Wang Jian did in April 12th, 2018, the year basically 2 or 3 months before he died in France. And we talked a lot about the extraordinary circumstances around that interview because it's just out of ordinary. Wang Jian never accepted any media report in China. He basically stayed pretty low profile in a way. I mean low profile to an extent, not to the media or not to the public eyes, but he's a billionaire. Everybody knows him. So, of course, within the circle of business. So, but he accepted a 4-hour interview. That's kind of strange. And in the interview, published later on in July 9th in the magazine, which on the slide number 2, you will see the cover page of that issue. It's the 27th issue during the year of that magazine. So we talked a little bit about that, but if you wanted to review some of the contents, you can definitely go back to the episode 16. But what we want to talk about here is what are the events that happened after the interview. Although the article has not been published publicly, not until July 7th, but the interview is done. And the reporters and the China Economic Weekly magazine has tidied up, typed up all those interviews, and according to the reporter later on, he mentioned it's over 20,000 words, okay, in Chinese, 20,000 words. So here we find what happened, the events after the interview was completed. In the beginning of June, according to the same newspaper, the magazine, that the reporter who did the interview with Wang Jian, rumors circled it that the concerned party. It's very interesting. In China, you have to, you know what? As a reader, newspaper, you will often hear concerned parties, 相关部门 or related agencies, 有关部门. So they don't tell you who are those parties or agency, but they just say relevant or concerned. It's very interesting. We don't